No one could have expected that the peace which had lasted for thousands of years in the vast Haoran profound realm would be abruptly shattered on the very day Shen Ruyan broke through to the golden immortal realm. The golden immortals of the Goyu sect forcibly invaded the heartland of the Haoran sect and suddenly erupted into battle with Shen Ruyan and Elder Yunshi. Countless immortal cities were shocked, and immortals were stunned. Even the previous annihilation battle involving the Aaron Blood sect and Yunlin immortal clan had only gathered 5 golden immortals. Yet now, before everyone's eyes, 5 golden immortals appeared. Among them, there was even a terrifying presence of mid to late golden immortal stage. Boom! Heaven-shattering and earth-destroying divine light shattered the void and ravaged thousands of miles. In an instant, the divine powers of the 5 golden immortals clashed, rising a great sun within the Haoran sect's core territory that swallowed the Tao laws. Above the sect's protective formation, thunderous, deafening bolts of lightning pierced the sky, tearing the heavenly canopy apart. Strange totems spread through the void, twisting the daylight and space. The powerful aftershocks swallowed 1,000 miles around, plunging everyone's vision into chaos, making it impossible to observe clearly. This was destined to be the most terrifying battle in the history of the Haoran profound realm. Within many immortal cities, the immortals were suffocated, forced to watch from afar without any chance to intervene. Even the city lords of great immortal cities, the near-complete immortal stage elders, dared not join in. Just a few aftershocks could easily kill them. Today I will kill every one of you. A golden immortal from the Goyu sect roared fiercely, his body burning with totems, a divine zither trembling in his hands. Endless killing intent echoed through the void, crashing toward the sect's protective formation. Within the void, huge waves of strange totems turned blood-red, trembling wildly as they advanced. Demonic music spread into the dim distance, intent on destroying souls. This demonic sound power, even across the protective formation and thousands of miles away, shook the hearts of the Haoran sect's people, causing subtle tears to open in their spiritual seas, pain stabbing deep into their bones. Even Shen Ruyan felt her heart race, but she did not retreat. With a cold shout, she summoned a divine treasure, an iridescent white jade bottle, which she tipped over, pouring out like water condensed like a star river. This was the water of the immortal, inexhaustible pool, which under her will transformed into a whirlpool that enveloped the sky above the protective formation. Inside that water, twinkling specks of light flickered, and the trembling waves resonated in a strange harmony with the demonic music. Suddenly, everyone felt their ears clear. The ominous sound was completely absorbed. This scene caused the Goyu immortal to frown deeply, but before he could react, Shen Ruyan struck again, taking the initiative in the attack. 9 Thunder/Calamity Sword Unleash. At her command, the golden immortal treasure 9 Thunder/Calamity Sword appeared, condensing the brilliance of the cosmos. It transformed into a celestial river slicing across the void, slashing away huge portions of the totems. Its terrifying power was Shen Ruyan's first full release of this treasured golden immortal weapon. Her eyes also emitted sword intent. The 9 Thunder/Calamity Sword swiftly descended, aiming at the Goyu immortal holding the zither. The destructive thunderclap surged fiercely, making the opponent's eyes widen in pain. He hastily cast a formation to block it, but it was instantly cut apart. Suppress it for me. Another Goyu immortal appeared beside to assist, wielding a divine sword. With a reversal of immense immortal power, he shattered the raging thunder, neutralizing the attack. Good. This caused many disciples of the Haoran sect to exclaim in admiration, their spirits greatly lifted. Although Shen Ruyan had just broken into the golden immortal realm, she was backed by many divine treasures. After several exchanges, she was not intimidated by these so-called Goyu immortals. HMPH, mere early-stage golden immortal dares to act arrogantly, unaware of his place. I will show you now that the gap in cultivation cannot be made up by divine treasures. At that moment, the most powerful Goyu golden immortal roared in anger. He was the late-stage golden immortal who had previously gone to capture the Huo Tian immortal. In the next instant, he no longer hid it. The late-stage golden immortal aura surged and fully revealed itself. Black totems rolled and churned. The golden immortal cosmos manifested monstrously, devouring heaven and earth. The entire Haoran sect was swallowed by darkness. A suffocating pressure descended, and even before he struck, The protective formation buzzed ominously. Both Elder Yunqi and Shen Ruyan were grave-faced. His power was more terrifying than the two of them combined. This was the true foundation of the Goyu sect's strength. Roar! Under this oppressive atmosphere, the darkness covering the entire world writhed. The outlines of totems flickered, continuously erasing the power in the void. In an instant, the apparition of a black Qilin was formed, hidden in the darkness, watching the world. Beneath its massive form, the entire Haoran sect looked as if it would be swallowed whole. Kill! Time seemed frozen under the pressure, until the Goyu immortal roared fiercely. The black Qilin surged forward with unstoppable momentum, its destructive intent bursting forth, stunning all immortals. Under this terrifying divine power, everyone was plunged into despair. Even thousands of miles away, immortal cities trembled and cracked. How could they possibly withstand this? If this strike landed, the protective formation would surely be broken. Who knew how many senior elders of Haoran would perish from the backlash? Boom! But at this critical moment, boundless white light suddenly blazed up from the plain like a thunderbolt. From thousands of miles away, it swept through the void, arriving late but striking first, directly hitting the head of the Qilin apparition. Chapter 1963, The World-Shaking Battle, Golden Immortals Clash Part 2. In an instant, an unimaginable aftershock exploded, roaring and blasting, tearing open a massive hole in the sky above. The chaotic, turbulent flow was violently forced back, suppressing the storm over thousands of miles. Countless stars fell, the earth was torn apart, and mountains crumbled. Under the weight of this force, the dark Qilin was stopped in its tracks. The Haoran sect's protective formation was battered with countless wounds by the aftershock, but in the end, it did not shatter. Who dares to ruin the great plans of our Goyu sect? How is this possible? How could they possess such power? This scene caused tens of thousands of immortals to gasp sharply, hearts filled with lingering dread. Two Goyu immortals were also shocked, then filled with rage, roaring furiously. The late-stage golden immortal of Goyu remained silent, his expression grave and stormy. Because this force that blocked him was all too familiar. Soon, the direction from which the strike came revealed a golden immortal whose aura surged fiercely, his gaze icy cold. Huo Tian, so you really were hiding here. Who was this? The target of the Goyu sect, Huo Tian immortal. Seeing the Haoran sect on the verge of calamity, he finally had to take action, no longer caring about consequences. Another golden immortal, are they insane? So many golden immortal experts gathering in the Haoran profound realm. What on earth is happening? We are about to witness history. This must involve something earth-shattering, something that will shake the heavens. This, without doubt, caused an uproar throughout the Haoran profound realm. Huo Tian Immortal's tremendous might made them realize yet another supreme powerhouse had emerged, joining the conflict. Moreover, no one had ever seen or heard of him before. This was an utterly shocking revelation. Signaling another force was stirring in this war. Not only in Haoran, but also neighboring ancient realms, many sides noticed the chaos at the Haoran sect. They sensed the presence of several golden immortal experts and were utterly astonished. What could have happened to cause such a terrifying scene within Haoran sect? Why must I hide? You traitors of the ancient realms are the ones who need to hide and scheme. Today I stand here alone. This has nothing to do with them. If you want to capture me, let's see if you have the ability. Huo Tian's arrival brought a temporary silence. Amid the rampaging chaos of the turbulent world, he stood arrogantly, dominating the heavens like a dragon, with no hint of weakness. Upon seeing him, Elder Yunqi was startled, sensing his extraordinary cultivation. He quietly asked Shen Ruyan, Immortal Shen, who is this fellow? In response, Shen Ruyan could only shake her head, signaling ignorance, saying, Perhaps he is related to my husband. When she emerged from seclusion, she had sensed Huo Tian's aura but didn't know who he was. She vaguely felt this was connected to Jiang Chengxuan. Stop uttering arrogant nonsense and making baseless accusations, HMPH. On the other side, Goyu immortals were furious at Huo Tian's veiled attacks. One of them snorted coldly and sneered. It's too late for words. When our patriarch arrives, the Haoran sect will be wiped out. These words struck like thunder, chilling everyone to the bone. The Goyu patriarch would personally descend. That was a true Grand Dao golden immortal, the legendary powerhouse of the ancient realm. Tens of thousands of years ago, he had already established his own legendary era. If he truly came in person, who in the Haoran sect could withstand him? Even Jiang Chengxuan, the sect lord, might not be enough. Thump thump. At this moment, the news made the air so still one could hear a pin drop. Only the chaotic pounding of hearts revealed everyone's unease and fear. Elder Yunchi was dazed, his mind blank. The Goyu patriarch, when he was still unknown, the latter was already at his peak. Such a figure, ordinarily, Yunchi wasn't qualified to approach. Now they were about to engage in a battle that seemed like a wild fantasy. Even Huo Tian's face turned ashen, his expression grave. Previously, the Goyu Grand Immortal had held back, tightening the noose but refraining from direct action. Perhaps he feared that elder, or respected his face or something else. Now that the patriarch was coming personally, Huo Tian was no longer confident. Only Shen Ruyan remained calm and steady, her eyes as resolute as ever, calm and unshaken. She did not fear death and was willing to oppose anyone for Jiang Chengxuan. Everything had come because of Jiang Chengxuan, so she would share the burden with him. Even a Grand Dao Golden Immortal could not shake her resolve. Especially since the Goyu Immortal had mentioned the destruction of the Haoran sect, this struck her deepest taboo and bottom line. Relying on borrowed power, let me see what strength you truly have first. Among them, Huo Tian was the first to break the silence. Already near death, he no longer cared about anything. His late-stage Golden Immortal might burst forth once more, reigniting the war. He was the strongest in the battlefield, alone able to turn the tide. Soon, Huo Tian bathed in vast heavenly light, stepping upon the raging flood as he charged forward. He summoned a divine treasure and simultaneously attacked 3 Goyu Immortals. Anyone who offends Haoran will be killed without mercy. Seeing this, Shen Ruyan became even bolder. The 9th Thunder/Calamity sword stabbed into the void. She herself transformed into a streak of lightning, instantly entering the battle's heart. Alas! Elder Yunchi sighed deeply, no longer caring about anything else. He too summoned a divine treasure to join the attack. Thus, 6 Golden Immortals fought fiercely within Haoran sect's heartland. Glorious, divine, ancient, and strange Golden Immortal cosmic manifestations overlapped, plunging the world into madness. Thunder exploded non-stop, terrifying Tao rhythms spreading, annihilating vast voids. Apocalyptic scenes devoured thousands of miles, slowly expanding beyond 10,000 miles. Lightning and immortal light fell like raindrops, causing the entire Haoran profound realm to flicker uncertainly. Boom, boom, boom. Amid deafening roars, countless immortal cities trembled, countless immortals shivered. They were utterly consumed by this world-ending spectacle. Such a clash was a level most could never witness in a lifetime. To witness it now, whether blessing or curse, none could say. Ah, damn it, Huo Tian. Yet the battle's outcome shocked everyone. After countless deadly exchanges, the side gaining the advantage was Haoran sect. In truth, Huo Tian had once been a Grand Dao Golden Immortal. Even if he had severed some of his cultivation, he was still no ordinary late-stage Golden Immortal. Using all kinds of tactics, he soon gravely wounded the enemy, causing them to bleed and roar in pain. Though Shen Ruyan had just broken into the Golden Immortal realm, and her realm was not yet fully stable. Thanks to several Golden Immortal treasures given by Jiang Chengxuan, her combat power was astonishing. In a one-on-one fight with a Goyu Immortal, she unleashed a series of violent offensives, forcing the opponent to retreat step by step. Elder Yunchi, also benefiting from Jiang Chengxuan's favor, had long since broken through to mid-stage Golden Immortal. Against early-stage Golden Immortal opponents, he was steady and firm, forcing them to complain bitterly. Everything seemed to be heading in a good direction. The immortals of Haoran Profound Realm gleamed with hope, fists clenched, their blood boiling. Goyu Sect Patriarch arrives, you ants kneel at once. However, at that moment, within the spatial rift opened by the Goyu Immortal, a voice as loud as a great bell, like thunder crashing, shattered the silence, echoing across the entire Haoran Profound Realm. This voice contained the pressure of a Golden Immortal in full realization, transmitting clearly into everyone's ears, breaking countless hearts of Haoran sect immortals. What they feared was not the speaker himself, but the information contained within. Almost immediately, a harsh tearing sound rang out. Far above in the sky, the spatial rift was forcibly widened by some exaggerated power. An overwhelmingly terrifying and profound great hole suddenly appeared between heaven and earth. At the same time, an unimaginable pressure descended, freezing the very world. Chapter 1964, The Arrival of Deluo, The Pinnacle Battle, Part 1. From that bottomless, enormous spatial rift, it seemed as if a god was about to emerge. All things under heaven and earth bowed in submission, not daring to make the slightest sound. Complete silence prevailed. Even the destructive might unleashed by the 6 battling golden immortals was, in that instant, utterly subdued. The violent chaotic currents seemed to crash into an invisible wall, gradually calming down. At this moment, their opponents, including Shen Ruyan and the others, were stirred, appearing almost frenzied as they retreated repeatedly, putting distance between themselves and the rift. Then in the void, they knelt down and shouted in unison towards the spatial rift. "Welcome, Ancestor! Welcome, Ancestor! Welcome, Ancestor!" This fervent scene shocked Shen Ruyan and the others, their eyes filled with utmost gravity. Under that overwhelming, world-devouring pressure, no one dared to pursue. Everyone knew who was about to arrive in this realm. "He's here." With a solemn whisper from the Huotian immortal, all eyes turned towards the spatial rift. First, a deceptive golden immortal appeared, bearing a vast and dazzling domineering cosmos on his back, radiating the terrifying aura of a golden immortal at its peak, suppressing the entire scene. But that was not the main point. In the blink of an eye, another figure appeared in the void, as if it had always existed there, merging with the heavens and earth. He was an imposing old man whose face showed little trace of age, standing tall, making the whole world seem to bow to him, as if he was the end of all things. "Huotian, long time no see." In an instant, no one could catch his speed. The deceptive ancestor had already appeared before everyone, his gaze indifferent as he addressed Huotian immortal. "HMPH. You know me, but I don't know you." Huotian immortal retorted with no hint of yielding, coldly and disdainfully speaking, showing no difference in attitude despite the man's status. Long ago, they could be called comrades, having fought side by side in the great battle that suppressed the Forbidden Zone tens of thousands of years ago. But now, facing the deceptive ancestor, his aura was completely different, eerie and ominous, no longer the person Huotian once knew. "Whether you know me or not no longer matters. Since I'm here, you will come back with me to the deceptive Xuan sect." The deceptive ancestor remained calm, expression unchanged, his inner heart unmoved as he spoke. He carried supreme authority, his words leaving no room for refusal, compelling all things to obey. "Dream on." But even facing such a being, Huotian immortal remained unflinching, resolute in his refusal. His pride earned silent admiration from many immortals, his courage was commendable. However, this did not help the situation. After speaking, the deceptive ancestor no longer said more. Slowly, he extended a hand, silently drawing upon the power of heaven and earth. In an instant, space froze. The place where Huotian immortal stood twisted with distorted void and laws, crushing down upon him. "Oh yeah." Huotian immortal reacted swiftly, roaring fiercely as he unleashed all his immortal power. Behind him, a phenomenon like a white hole manifested, a strike that had been prepared for a long time now unleashed with a thunderous boom. It was his strongest divine killing technique, nearing the peak of golden immortal level, even bearing traces of Deluo's Tao rhythm. Instantly, the entire heavens and earth were bathed in vast white light, as if coated with silver. Wherever this powerful golden immortal force passed, the void shattered inch by inch, stars vanished into oblivion. "Seal." Yet facing this overwhelming power, the deceptive ancestor did not even blink. He uttered a single word and all laws collapsed, a massive force suddenly appearing from nowhere, devouring thousands of miles. The heavens and earth changed color, the boundless white light extinguished in an instant, and the world returned to silence. The golden immortal's supreme divine torrent was as if grasped by an invisible hand, with sharp, strange screeches. The void collapsed, creating a domain of severance. It directly severed the immortal force, burying, sealing, and consuming it in an instant. Huotian immortal's desperate counterattack was thus easily resolved. "Hiss." So, this is the power of a Deluo golden immortal. I can no longer imagine what level this is. To witness such a battle of supreme beings, even death would be worth it. For a moment, all cultivators in the Heoring Xuan realm were stunned, their hearts sinking into a bottomless abyss. Some even screamed in awe, crazed by the spectacle. Cough, cough. Yu Tian Immortal coughed up immortal blood, his aura in chaos. Once reaching the De Luo realm himself, he knew very well the vast gap between De Luo and golden immortals. He had no chance at all. Yet unwilling to yield, even if it meant death, he insisted on launching a counterattack. Thud, with a heavy sound, Yu Tian Immortal fainted to the ground. The scene fell silent. Shen Ruyan and the others gazed at the old man in the void, feeling a deep sense of helplessness. The deceptive ancestor had no intention of sparing Heoran Xuan sect. He pointed a finger at the sect's protective formation and everyone inside. The pressure of the De Luo golden immortal collapsed like the sky falling, pressing down on every heart, making resistance impossible. Even Shen Ruyan and Elder Yunqi felt their blood run cold, their Dao laws suppressed. Their golden immortal powers could not be released and were trapped inside their bodies. Following this, under the despairing gazes of all, destruction was about to descend. The entire Heoran Xuan sect was about to cease to exist. This was a true catastrophe of annihilation. Buzz. Yet at this moment of life and death, a strange humming sound suddenly erupted from somewhere within the Heoran Xuan realm. Chapter 1965. The Arrival of De Luo, The Pinnacle Battle, Part 2. A twisted invisible force swept across heaven and earth at an astonishing speed. Wherever it passed, bizarre phenomena appeared. Withered trees came to life, wildfires turned into forests, and stars reversed their course. Time reversed in that instant. Everyone felt the world waver and blur. Then the terrifying pressure condensed by the deceptive ancestor vanished completely, and heaven and earth returned to tranquility, as if nothing had ever happened. How is this possible? What just happened? This scene shocked several golden immortals of the deceptive Xuan sect, who exclaimed in disbelief. Even the expression of the deceptive ancestor finally changed as he furrowed his brow. What's going on? What just happened? Am I seeing things? That terrible power has disappeared. Countless immortals across the Heoran Xuan realm were stunned, nearly numb, unable to comprehend this unforeseen change. Today, they had witnessed too many things beyond their previous imagination. Rumble. But it was not over yet. The next moment, from the place where the fluctuations erupted, an astonishing immortal power shot straight up, piercing the boundless heavens. In an instant, the heavens shifted drastically. The starry sky became extraordinarily clear, each star dazzling intensely, as if pulled closer. The entire Heoran Xuan realm seemed to be submerged into a sea of stars. The cosmos shifted, and the heavens trembled. Immortal power and cosmic laws froze within this scene. Every subtle change moved extremely slowly and strangely. Another domineering pressure descended, enveloping the entire universe, instilling an overwhelming sense of helplessness. At some unknown moment, a figure slowly appeared, treading through the river of time, standing tall above Heoran Xuan sect with his hands behind his back. It's him, Master of Heoran, Ancestor, Friend Jiang, Husband. For a moment, all faces expressed different emotions, calling out various titles at his appearance. But if he was not Jiang Chengxuan, the true overlord of Heoran Xuan sect, then who was he? At this moment, his aura had once again undergone a profound transformation, unfathomable, surpassing any previous time. Only the few golden immortals present could sense this, and in their hearts, a vague guess stirred stirring emotions that ranged from excitement, madness, to suffocation. Deceptive ancestor, is it not unreasonable to attack my Heoran Xuan sect like this? Among them, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes narrowed, his gaze fixed on the distant deceptive ancestor, speaking gravely. Then the entire heavens and earth shifted inexplicably. Invisible, dreadful energy collided, making the atmosphere tense, like an impending storm on the edge of collapse. The two exchanged no words, yet the world trembled and strange phenomena erupted. In truth, even the deceptive ancestor's heart surged with turbulent waves, far from the calm expression he wore. Because he could sense that Jiang Chengxuan was his equal, a De Luo golden immortal. How could this not astonish him? This person before him, apparently having cultivated for far less time, had already broken through to the De Luo golden immortal realm. He had entered the eternal, immortal, an FREE Chinese letter that billions of cultivators dreamed of. Who was he? Could he have some connection to that supreme existence? The deceptive ancestor could not help but consider this, for only such a thing could explain everything. Moreover, Jiang Chengxuan's connection to Huo Tian further supported this conjecture. "Who are you?" Thus he asked Jiang Chengxuan, his gaze unprecedentedly grave. Jiang Chengxuan replied calmly, "I am who I am, Jiang Chengxuan, master of Heoran." He seemed to understand the deceptive ancestor's fear. "Young one, the Deluo golden immortal realm is not as simple as you think." But the deceptive ancestor was, after all, a legendary figure of the ancient realm who had once suppressed an entire era. He would not be easily intimidated. Having come personally, he would not retreat without a fight. As he finished speaking, the entire heavens suddenly grew hot, as if 10,000 miles were inside a furnace. The immortal power blazed fiercely, burning all cultivators present. In an instant, everyone held their breath, realizing a great battle was about to erupt. This would be a terrifying fight, unprecedented in eternity. Even for the deceptive Xuan sect, this battle was terrifying. Golden immortals were not even qualified to intervene. Eternal death seal suppress. In a flash, the deceptive ancestor struck first, seeking to test Jiang Chengxuan's true strength. With a wave of his massive hand, boundless immortal power surged forth. Countless complex totems appeared in the void, forming an extremely bizarre magic seal that pounded towards Jiang Chengxuan. This strike froze time and space. The dreadful laws severed causality, enough to annihilate any enemy on any level, impossible to dodge. Its eerie mysterious light blossomed like a nebula in the Heoran Chuan realm, absorbing all light, twisting space for thousands of miles. Upon its appearance, the protective formation of Heoran Chuan sect was immediately annihilated and shattered. Fortunately, Jiang Chengxuan responded without hesitation. He spread his hands, summoning countless golden runes that appeared out of thin air, as radiant as a great sun. The sacred brilliance illuminated heaven and earth, causing the stars above to dim as if their light was drained. Its aura gave everyone a profound sense of peace and tranquility, without the burning sensation. Rumble! In an instant, the two powers collided, unleashing aftershocks that spread throughout the Heoran Chuan realm. The void twisted, time and space became chaotic, causing bizarre phenomena. Some were affected, turning into children. Others had black hair turn white, stars reversed, heavenly rivers flowed backward. In the hands of Deluo golden immortals, all rules ceased to exist, distorted at will. No one could clearly see how the battle unfolded. Only the madness of the world could be felt. The cosmic laws were annihilated, fused, and collapsed. Massive immortal powers tore through the void and star rivers at will. The fight of Deluo golden immortals took place on a completely different level, unreachable by ordinary immortals. It was because of this that everyone in Heoran Chuan sect remained safe. Where am I? At this moment, Huo Tian immortal awakened, first confused but quickly understanding. He looked up at the battlefield that had twisted and vanished into the river of time, sensing the strange fluctuations and anomalies. He then understood everything. He succeeded. Jiang Chengxuan has broken through to the Deluo golden immortal realm. He shouted, a thought shared by all present who were overwhelmed with astonishment. There was no doubt. To fight the deceptive ancestor was proof that Jiang Chengxuan's strength had truly reached the Deluo golden immortal level. This was truly a shock to the world. When Jiang Chengxuan last appeared, he was only a mid-stage golden immortal. But after just a few thousand years, he had achieved the Deluo golden immortal realm. That immortal, eternal realm, immortal and undying, enough to carve his true name into the ancient history of the realm. Even those of Heoran Chuan sect found it hard to believe. Their ancestor had unknowingly reached such a level. He will leave his mark in the entire history of the ancient realm. He will be a new legend. In the future, all heavens will sing his name. Unbelievable, too extraordinary. This achievement is unprecedented in eternity. I have never heard of such a talent. His future is unimaginable. Countless immortals marveled, using all words to express their respect and awe. Yet in their hearts, it still felt insufficient to describe what Jiang Chengxuan truly was. Chapter 1966, The Final Task, Transcendent Tao Arts, Part 1. A Deluo golden immortal, having comprehended the myriad Tao of the world, masters the true power of the universe. Yu represents space, Zhou represents time. With universe unified, one can transcend the river of time and sever thousands of miles with a single thought. At this moment, Jiang Chengxuan and the deceptive ancestor had already battled on another level. This was no mere cosmic phenomenon, but a clash within the true chaos of time and space. Terrifying immortal power surged throughout the universe, with supreme Tao forces twisting everything. When the deceptive ancestor struck, hundreds of stars within a 1,000-mile radius were compressed and drawn into his palm. The immense mass crushed space, shaking the deep cosmos itself. Next moment, the deceptive Qiuansek's ancestor slammed a palm toward Jiang Chengxuan. Instantly, 1,000 points of light erupted explosively from his palm, crashing down upon Jiang Chengxuan. They burned fiercely, each light a star under suppression, each strike carrying the weight of billions. This was a technique no ordinary De Luo golden immortal could wield. Only an ancient powerhouse like the deceptive ancestor, who had surpassed the De Luo realm for tens of thousands of years, could command it at will. The single strike revealed the vast gap between him and Jiang Chengxuan. Within, Jiang Chengxuan's gaze was sharp and solemn, yet he was unafraid. Millennia of insight had enabled him to break through the De Luo golden immortal realm. The De Luo Dao canon, bestowed by the system, had long pointed the way for his future. What once baffled him within the Dao canon now became suddenly clear and comprehensible. Almost instinctively, Jiang Chengxuan also extended a palm, focusing his mind. The vast cosmic expanse within thousands of miles flowed toward his palm, beginning to condense. Even nebulae tens of thousands of miles away were drawn in, undulating continuously. He imitated the deceptive ancestor's technique, but instead of summoning stars, he continuously stacked layers of space within the palm world until it collapsed inward, forming a small black hole. Then, with a snap of his fingers, the black hole was released, swelling violently against the wind. Wherever it passed, all light was swallowed, stars and heavenly rivers severed. Rumble! In an instant, the black hole collided with the myriad starlights condensed by the deceptive ancestor. Within the vast cosmic deep space, a terrifying explosion erupted, churning chaos. Endless light and heat consumed millions of miles. The void twisted, displaying strange phenomena of the heavens and earth. The aftershocks, through the power of the De Luo golden immortal, transcended the river of time itself. They influenced both the future and past. Countless immortals could sense the aura of this battle, and were left breathless and trembling. Within Xianxia realm, all could feel the transcendent power within the hazy storm. Heaven and earth flickered ceaselessly. Sometimes fierce winds blew, sometimes torrential rain poured, sometimes thunder roared. Various scenes of time reversal occurred repeatedly, withered and flourishing reversed, collapse and rebirth, stars spinning backward. These strange spectacles caused all immortals to hold their breath, afraid to make even the slightest move. My husband! Under this pressure, Shen Ruyan and others could not help but worry for Jiang Chengxuan, clenching their fists tightly and staring unwaveringly at the void above. After all, the deceptive ancestor was a De Luo golden immortal famed for over 10,000 years. Jiang Chengxuan had just broken through to this realm. Though it proved his exceptional talent, the outcome was still uncertain, and clearly the deceptive ancestor held the advantage. Especially Huo Tian Immortal, who deeply understood the many techniques of the De Luo realm. He knew very well that there was no rank difference within the De Luo golden immortal realm. The power gap might be small, but in reality, the many miraculous techniques ensured great disparity in combat strength among equals. How is this possible? How could you possess such techniques? Within the chaotic battlefield, the deceptive ancestor had originally thought this. But after their first clash, his heart trembled, shaken by uncertainty. In the void, the black hole continued to consume, and be consumed by the stars condensed into light points. Wave after wave of shockwaves rocked the cosmos, spewing vast swaths of light, heat, and immortal radiance that melted the star sea. It was obvious Jiang Chengxuan's techniques rivaled the deceptive ancestors in no way less. It was as if Jiang Chengxuan had an accumulation of tens of thousands of years of cultivation, from birth upon breaking into the De Luo realm. Perhaps you are right, the De Luo golden immortal realm is not so simple. Jiang Chengxuan's expression was calm as he returned the deceptive ancestor's words. This made the latter's face darken, and his gaze grew even fiercer. Jiang Chengxuan did not care about angering him. Because the deceptive ancestor had wantonly attempted to destroy Xianxia sect, crossing a red line for Jiang Chengxuan, whose resentment must be avenged. Ding! At this moment, a cold voice suddenly sounded in Jiang Chengxuan's mind. It came from the system and carried an inexplicable weight of age and weariness. Host, please complete the final task. Defeat the De Luo Golden Immortal Realm. At the next moment, the system's simple command shook Jiang Chengxuan deeply. His gaze sharpened. The four words "final task" struck him with unprecedented shock. He did not know where the system originated, but without it, Jiang Chengxuan would never have come so far. It was like a guiding light, resolving countless fatal hardships on his immortal path. It allowed him to defy fate and accomplish many unprecedented miracles. Yet at this utterly sudden moment, the system issued its final task. How could Jiang Chengxuan not be stunned? At the same time, Jiang Chengxuan vaguely understood something. He knew. Chapter 1967, The Final Mission, Tao and Magic Transcendent / Part 2. Perhaps everything was about to reach its end, its final conclusion. Despite the overwhelming reluctance in his heart, Jiang Chengxuan quickly gathered his thoughts, barely perceptibly nodding to signify his acceptance of this ultimate mission. In an instant, his expression turned solemn and grave, his entire aura sharpening into something fierce and majestic, commanding respect without anger. This sudden change puzzled even the old ancestor of the Gyu sect. How could Jiang Chengxuan seem to transform so abruptly, as if some great upheaval had befallen him? 10,000 ages manifested sacred scripture, invoke. Without hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan took the initiative and struck first. With a grand wave of his hand, boundless golden runes appeared behind him, forming a vast sea of golden light like a radiant sun. A sacred and incomparable aura illuminated the entire deep space. The omnipresent sealing forces erupted, suppressing all things. Time and space stiffened, crystallizing into a layer of golden ice. The power of this ancient scripture was finally unleashed to its utmost by Jiang Chengxuan. Seeing this, the Gyu elder dared not be arrogant, hurriedly activating his divine power. Summoning layers upon layers of eerie totems, like millions of strange dragons, roaring through heaven and earth, devouring the starry sky. Behind him, overlapping rivers of pitch-black Tao rules formed a cosmic painting, with a power that blocked the sky and obscured the sun, erupting to suppress all. In a flash, the entire deep cosmic space was split in two. One side bathed in sacred light, the other sealed by totems, fused into a scene from a bizarre painting. Rumble! The two halves of the universe, wrapped in the powers of Jiang Chengxuan and the Gyu Old Ancestor, collided with unstoppable force, triggering an apocalyptic explosion. The collision zone spanned tens of thousands of miles, cutting across boundless star regions. Every inch was the battleground of terrifying immortal energy and Tao rules. It seemed as if the world they stood upon was about to be torn apart. Within this chaos, Jiang Chengxuan's fighting spirit surged, fearless and resolute. He was determined to achieve a perfect victory and bring a conclusive end to the system's final mission. In the midst of the chaotic turbulence, he summoned the primordial Hengmeng sword, his figure flickering silently as he crossed space, slashing towards the Gyu Old Ancestor. Now, acting purely on instinct, his ghostly speed already surpassed that of his former enemy Yuing Daxian. At the Golden Immortal level, such an overwhelming identity could be effortlessly surpassed by a De Luo Golden Immortal like him. The Gyu Old Ancestor responded swiftly as well. An ominous totem Tao rule, like a possessed serpent, manifested on his hand, condensing into a massive fist imprint, striking head-on. Hum! The primordial Hengmeng sword clashed with it, producing a metallic ring. A blade sharp enough to cut through void Tao rules, but unable to sever the Gyu Old Ancestor's Tao power. Yet Jiang Chengxuan did not retreat. His immortal power surged instantly, unleashing a storm of attacks. The primordial Hengmeng sword swung with countless afterimages. Each sword strike tore through the heavens, slicing star clouds in half. Even the Tao rule of time itself was severed, freezing that star region into a deathly stillness. This ferocious offensive enraged the Gyu Old Ancestor. He refused to yield an inch, both fists infused with great Tao power, raining down like a torrential storm. His punches carried immense might, shattering large sections of space, suppressing Tao rules beneath each blow. Each strike stirred infinite chaotic storms, carving out black holes. In former years, he had ruled an era, an absolute powerhouse who forged a De Luo path through bloodshed. His terrifying strength in combat will far exceeded what mere prodigies could describe. 9 Wonders Bodhi Lotus Lamp Invoke. Sensing the enemy's extraordinary power, Jiang Chengxuan did not hold back. He summoned the 9 Wonders Bodhi Lotus Lamp, and a 9-colored divine lotus blossomed in the universe. At its center, the Bodhi sapling had fully grown, proudly standing within the star sea. Supreme power surged forth, limitless sources of life energy, immortal power, even a trace of the impure primordial chaos. All flowed like rivers, pouring into Jiang Chengxuan's body. His aura surged continuously, his displayed immortal power suffused with profound mystery. All his divine arts and Tao methods were enhanced, their might greatly amplified. Having reached the Deluo golden immortal realm, the 9 Wonders Bodhi Lotus Lamp finally achieved its pinnacle. Rumble! The Gyu old ancestor felt overwhelming pressure as Jiang Chengxuan's sword intent ran rampant, seemingly intent on destroying the entire cosmos. Even his ominous totems began to show fractures under the slashes. Impossible, what kind of treasure is this? The Gyu old ancestor was shocked, unable to believe his eyes. Jiang Chengxuan's extraordinary techniques were one thing, but how could even the immortal treasures he wielded surpass the golden immortal tier? Where could such power come from? Arrogant brat, how dare you? As Jiang Chengxuan unleashed his full strength, the Gyu old ancestor found himself falling behind. Furious, humiliated, and mad with rage, he refused to accept Jiang Chengxuan as an equal and sought to crush him utterly. With a roar, he summoned his own immortal treasure. He stretched out his hand, causing the Star River to collapse, forging a long spear. Its blade stained with a certain ominous black blood that continuously oozed, never drying. In an instant, the Gyu old ancestor swung the spear, stirring the 8 directions of the Star Sea, unleashing a tide of ominous waves flowing upstream, devouring countless streams of heavenly light, drawing the profound darkness to suppress Jiang Chengxuan. This immortal treasure also surpassed the golden immortal tier. It had accompanied the Gyu old ancestor since ancient times, soaked with the blood of countless enemies, imbued with an unparalleled ferocity. Boom, boom, boom. Jiang Chengxuan grasped the primordial Hengmeng sword, clashing with the spear. The universe tilted under the force of their battle, sometimes leaning towards Jiang Chengxuan, blotting out sun and moon, sometimes tipping towards the Gyu old ancestor, the sacred light dazzling the world. Even a stray breath from their fight caused spatial rifts to tear open tens of thousands of miles beyond the Heoring Chunyuan. Primitive runes, worn-out celestial light scroll invoke. Despite the terrifying battle, Jiang Chengxuan still had reserves. His eyes burned with a sharp light, his mind shifting. The universe spun as a string of stars emerged, 4 primitive runes floating forth, releasing grand power, signs of life itself. Within them, the worn-out celestial light star region gradually fused. Wrapped in desolate, worn-out desolation, a scene of destruction and death merged into one, producing an extremely profound transformation. This sudden force was something the Gyu old ancestor had not anticipated. Soon, with astonishing speed, the profound power engulfed most of the cosmic deep space, easily sweeping away the heavenly Tao rules, erasing countless totem Tao rules from the void. And with an unstoppable apocalyptic momentum, it pressed down upon him. This power was extraordinarily extraordinary, a fusion of primitive runes and ruined primordial sky energy, its might far exceeding the original. At the crucial moment, the Gyu old ancestor again summoned an extraordinary immortal treasure to try and block it. But it only lasted moments before the terrifying power overwhelmed his position. Rumble! The entire cosmic deep space began collapsing. Vast star clouds dimmed and dispersed. One after another, star rivers were severed, billions of stars shattered and fell. Outside the Heoring Chunyuan, everyone felt a sudden eruption of pressure spreading easily throughout the world. Many cultivators without sufficient strength were instantly knocked unconscious. Countless fell like stalks of wheat blown down by the wind. Then, before anyone could see clearly, a hazy, mysterious light swept across the space, entering the distant dome's entrance and disappearing without a trace. Only the golden immortals present could sense a faint aura leaving this place. But not just one person. This made Shen Ruyan and the others' hearts leap to their throats. They dared not breathe, eyes fixed intently, fearful of witnessing something they wished never to see. Chapter 1968. Gate of the Forbidden Zone, Half-Step Hunyuan Part 1. A shocking pressure stunned countless cultivators throughout the Haoring Chuan realm, causing widespread chaos. Many barely withstood it, yet still felt their minds dazed and could not clearly see the scene. Only those at the center, inside the Haoring Chuan sect, could continue to observe. The blurred and distorted void battlefield gradually brightened, with uncontrollable mysterious light surging forth, tearing open a chaotic starry sky and illuminating the disorder across the heavens. This scene made Jiang Chengxuan and the golden immortals of the Guayu sect focus intensely, their nerves taut. They realized the peak battle at the De Luo realm had ended, and a victor had been decided. His identity would determine the life and death of the entire Haoring Chuan sect. Buzz. A brilliant figure slowly emerged, bathed in supreme majesty. Immediately, whether it was Shen Ruyan and the others or the Guayu sect cultivators, their faces changed drastically and their bodies trembled. Husband. Daofren Jiang. Ancestor. On Shen Ruyan and the others' faces were expressions of incomparable joy and excitement. In contrast, the immortals of the Guayu sect looked as if they had lost their entire families. Their hair stood on end, and their hearts sank like a collapsing mountain. The figure leisurely stepping out from the battlefield, if not Jiang Chengxuan, then who else could it be? Without a doubt, the one who had fled in a flash of light earlier was the Guayu sect's patriarch. He had actually been defeated by Jiang Chengxuan. How is this possible? I don't believe it. It must be an illusion. No, impossible. For a moment, several from the Guayu sect could not accept the truth, their eyes bloodshot as they cried out in agony. But soon, some reacted and unleashed their immortal power desperately, trying to transform into beams of light to escape immediately. Yet just as they willed it, they suddenly found their senses stripped away. They could no longer feel their immortal power, nor sense where space itself was. This plunged them into despair, as cold as falling into an ice cellar, realizing disaster was imminent. Nearby, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes looked indifferent as, with just a snap of his fingers, he easily immobilized these few golden immortals, who had no strength to resist and froze in place. Then Jiang Chengxuan gestured, and an irresistible force suppressed and dragged them over from a distance, casually tossing them in front of the Haoring Chuan sect crowd. This domineering act caused everyone to gasp, their hearts filled with boundless awe. Remember, these were golden immortal cultivators, some even at the peak golden immortal realm. In Jiang Chengxuan's hands, they were no different from ordinary mortals. This was terrifyingly extreme. Even the Haoshan immortal was stunned, the only one who understood. Not every De Luo golden immortal possessed such abilities. Jiang Chengxuan's action proved that his victory over the Guayu patriarch was no accident. Husband. Among them, Shen Ruyan was both shocked and joyous. Her graceful figure stepped lightly through the air as she softly called out to Jiang Chengxuan. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes softened, and he pulled her into his embrace. However, he did not indulge in this moment of tenderness. After a while, he said to Shen Ruyan, "This matter is urgent. Wife, wait for me to finish this, then I will come back to properly catch up." Hearing this, Shen Ruyan showed no displeasure, only deep affection as she replied, "All right, husband, you must return safely. I will always wait for you." All the tenderness and care were expressed without words. Jiang Chengxuan nodded. The two separated. He then glanced once over the Haoring Chuan sect crowd, and without hesitation, his entire being transformed into an invisible spatial ripple, following the trace of the Guayu patriarch. Jiang Chengxuan knew that although his strike injured the Guayu patriarch, it was not enough to finish him off. Within the Guayu sect, something hidden might bring great disaster. Before the Guayu patriarch could carry out a desperate move, Jiang Chengxuan must stop him. There was no time to delay. Bang! A hurried crashing sound echoed through the hall as the Guayu patriarch's disheveled figure flickered and appeared inside. "Things have changed. Leave immediately, go to the Bone Wilderness Forbidden Zone." His long hair was loose, his expression extremely grave and somewhat dispirited as he shouted to those in the hall. "Why are you so flustered? How did you end up like this?" At that moment, a sinister and vague figure appeared in the darkness, looking uncertain. Upon hearing this, the Guayu patriarch's face grew grim and somewhat ferocious, yet he truthfully said, "That kid who took Haoshan away is strange. He may have some connection to that person. His methods are unfathomable. Even I cannot match him." These words shocked the vague figure, who emitted uncontrollable fluctuations. The Guayu Patriarch's explanation was too startling, inducing dread. The shadow knew very well the power of the Guayu Patriarch, or else it would not have chosen to cooperate with him. And that so-called person who took away Haoshan was not even at the De Luo golden immortal realm. How could he be beyond the Guayu Patriarch's ability? If the Guayu Patriarch were not so pale, the shadow might have thought he was joking. "Hurry and leave, don't think so much." Seeing him hesitate, the Guayu Patriarch shouted sternly. The shadow immediately turned, becoming a strange black wind that clung to him. Then the Guayu Patriarch did not dare delay, breaking through the void again and fleeing towards some direction. Boom! A moment later, a powerful aura shattered the hall and descended inside. Chapter 1969, Gate of the Forbidden Zone, Half-Step Hunyuan Part 2. Bathed in sacred radiance, Jiang Chengxuan pursued relentlessly. He focused his mind, seeing through cause and effect, sensing an overwhelmingly ominous aura and the presence of the Guayu Patriarch. Both had left here not long ago. Buzz! Without hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan unleashed his immortal power to break through the void, chasing without pause. The two figures raced toward the Forbidden Zone, nearest to the Guayu sect. This Forbidden Zone was vast, many times larger than the Deep Earth Forbidden Zone near Xianxia sect. It was here, tens of thousands of years ago, that a terrible ominous upheaval had erupted. After suppressing the rebellion, the Guayu sect took control of this place. Back then, Guayu sect was still called Tianyu sect. Damn it, he's chasing us. For De Luo golden immortals, space posed almost no obstacle. The Guayu Patriarch, accompanied by the sinister shadow, swiftly reached the deepest part of the Forbidden Zone. Yet simultaneously, they felt Jiang Chengxuan's unmasked aura pursuing at an astonishing speed, already entering the zone's edge. "Quick, open the Forbidden Zone gate immediately." A cold, strange voice ordered. The Guayu Patriarch's eyes flickered, but he did not refuse. In the dim depths of the Forbidden Zone stood an ancient stone gate, carved with mysterious runes. Inside the gate was chaos and obscurity, impossible to peer through. It was a passage once opened by an ominous race, sealed by a supreme being using special means. Normally it could not be opened, only from within. Previously, the ominous shadow had urged the Guayu Patriarch to open it, but he refused. Now cornered with no way out, he had no choice. Moreover, their actions had to be swift. Following the shadow's lead, the Guayu Patriarch arrived before the stone gate. Chanting ancient scriptures, he formed seals with his hands, causing the runes on the gate to glow one by one. With De Luo golden immortal power, breaking the seal on the gate was not difficult. It was a path left open for them, though no one dared to open it, because beyond was the heavens, a terrifying battlefield facing the ominous race. Rumble! In an instant, the runes lit up, and infinite Tao patterns manifested. The aura of myriad worlds was reflected in mysterious light, pulling at the very space and time of this world. Near the gate, chaos ensued, a realm beyond words transcending this dimension. Then the murky gate interior deepened into profound darkness. Black lightning surged out, radiating supreme pressure that shook heaven and earth. At that moment, a figure burning with immortal power descended from the sky, runes in hand striking first. Countless golden chains intertwined, crashing toward the stone gate. Buzz! In a flash, heavenly light burned the void, humming echoes filled the air, and all Tao laws and myriad methods froze. Countless golden chains entwined the stone gate, powerful sealing forces suppressing the opening rift. "He's here." The Guayu Patriarch's face turned ashen. If not Jiang Chengxuan, then who else? The Forbidden Zone gate had yet to fully open, but Jiang Chengxuan had already sealed it. Does this person truly carry his aura? Even the ominous shadow was shocked by Jiang Chengxuan's aura. From him it felt a familiar power, unforgettable for eternity. It was the power of a supreme being who single-handedly blocked them at the heavens. "I shall bring you extra-mundane Hunyuan energy. May you break through and fight him together." The shadow grew tense, dangerous cold light flickered in its hollow eyes. Without waiting for Guayu sect's reply, it dispersed instantly into black mist. Tentacle-like black rays spread from within, probing into the rift at the gate's opening. In an instant, a force alien to this world was stirred, mingling chaos and void, merging with the mist along the tendrils. Among it was even a trace of pure Hunyuan energy. The next moment, after absorbing enough extra-mundane power, the shadow-shaped mist swelled rapidly, enveloping the Guayu patriarch. Under this, the patriarch's body was dyed with layers of extra-mundane energy. He greedily devoured the traces of Hunyuan energy. This was power every Deluo golden immortal dreamed of. The Guayu patriarch was no exception. He had waited tens of thousands of years, laying plans in the Forbidden Zone but never obtaining it. Now, even though the Hunyuan energy was mixed with other forces and no longer pure, the patriarch relished it fully, refining it without loss. Even in this dire moment, the Guayu patriarch felt revitalized. His aura steadily rose, breaking through the threshold. Within his Tao laws and immortal power, the highest essence now dwelled. Hunyuan power, this is Hunyuan power. Once all calmed, the patriarch's momentum surged dramatically, his voice shaking the universe. At this moment he felt reborn, about to transcend. Jiang Chengshuan prepared to die. Without hesitation, obeying his murderous intent, the Guayu patriarch waved his huge hand, unleashing a frenzied explosion of immortal power. Mixed with various chaotic forces, it surged down to suppress. This power far surpassed his former self. Wherever his Tao laws passed, the void warped. Seeing this, Jiang Chengshuan's gaze grew cold. He waved his hand, and the 10,000 eternal sacred scriptures manifested wondrous heavenly phenomena. Like the sky collapsing, he met the suppressive force head-on. Rumble! Two forces collided, shaking the entire Forbidden Zone. Storms raged, the void shattered inch by inch. Endless ominous darkness surged, blotting out the sky, beasts roaring wildly. This is Hunyuan power, you can't defeat me. In this clash, the Guayu patriarch gained the upper hand, forcing Jiang Chengshuan to retreat several steps. Filled with excitement, the patriarch roared fiercely, his eyes flashing with savage light, regaining his dominance. With the shadow's aid, although he had not fully broken into the Hunyuan golden immortal realm, he had stepped into the quasi-Hunyuan realm. After all, he had prepared for tens of thousands of years, lacking only the crucial Hunyuan energy, now fully replenished. Chaos Domination Universe Technique. Next moment, filled with battle intent, the patriarch roared, shifting from defense to offense. Countless Guayu totem Tao laws erupted behind him, blotting out the sky, devouring thousands of miles at visible speed. The myriad Tao laws of heaven and earth were tainted by ominous aura, forming a black hole around him. All immortal power and space were corroded and repelled. He unleashed a shocking magical formation at Jiang Chengshuan, exuding Hunyuan energy. Space and time warped under his influence. Even Jiang Chengshuan felt immense pressure. Embedded with Hunyuan power, the patriarch's Tao laws could not be reversed. All attacks from the 10,000 eternal sacred scriptures were twisted, collapsed, and shattered. Like great suns collapsing and destroying all. This overwhelming suppression stirred the patriarch's mind, as if he held the power of life and death. Today, you came here seeking death. No sooner said than done, the patriarch went completely mad, unleashing world-shattering attacks with various divine arts. Storms of extra-mundane ominous energy swept the entire Forbidden Zone. These terrifying forces did not belong to this world. Even though Jiang Chengshuan summoned the nine-wonder Bodhi Lotus lamp, raising his aura further, he could not withstand the patriarch's relentless suppression and was forced back step by step. In truth, just before the stone gate, the situation reversed instantly. Moreover, as Jiang Chengshuan and the patriarch's battle intensified, the stone gate sealed by the 10,000 eternal sacred scriptures began to open again. Profound darkness tore apart bit by bit. The aura of another strange universe seeped out, forming dense black mist that corroded the sky. Within the deep darkness, something seemed to stir restlessly. Through the rift, it watched this world closely. Chapter 1970, Great Hunyuan Deluo, The Heavenly Scheme, Part 1. The extra-mundane gaze descended, unsettling the entire Forbidden Zone. As the rift in the stone gate widened, chaos erupted inside the zone, rebellions beginning to break out. Ominous phenomena shifted and boiled endlessly. What's happening inside the Forbidden Zone? Is another uprising about to happen? I feel a chill down my spine. Outside the Forbidden Zone, some immortals noticed the turmoil, inexplicably horrified. It was as if a great heavenly calamity was about to occur, deeply unsettling. Hunyuan power, do you understand it? Struggle all you want, it's useless. Halasa. At the source of everything, the void had become utterly shattered. The terrifying battle between the two had completely blasted it apart, sinking it into nothingness. Aside from the remnants of ominous power, immortal force, and divine arts, nothing else remained. Space and time warped into chaos. Countless phenomena of reverse time occurred. Jiang Chengxuan and the Guayu Patriarch fought continuously with inconceivable methods, their battle escalating. This was power capable of destroying worlds, nearly fracturing the ancient realm's boundary and opening the outer world. How arrogant, brat! How can you possibly oppose me? Suppressing Jiang Chengxuan bit by bit, the Guayu Patriarch's eyes turned blood red. He relentlessly mocked Jiang Chengxuan, completely desperate today. Being repelled by a junior in front of so many immortals, losing many golden immortals from his sect, and pushed into a desperate situation, this drove him mad. Do you think you have already won? Despite the grim situation, Jiang Chengxuan remained calm and composed. His words caused the Guayu Patriarch to pause briefly, but he immediately unleashed stronger offensive power, pressing Jiang Chengxuan step by step and coldly snarling. Playing tricks, do you think I'd fall for it? A mere Deluo, golden immortal, cannot be my match. Though he spoke confidently, for some reason an inexplicable unease gnawed at him. Hunyuan power, this world isn't yours alone. As if confirming his fears, Jiang Chengxuan suddenly shouted with dominance. A soaring profound light burst forth from his palm, an exquisitely mysterious aura filling the 9 heavens. Amid infinite chaos, a splendid spectacle opened. Thick strands of potent Hunyuan energy appeared in the void, enveloping Jiang Chengxuan and driving back the Guayu Patriarch. Impossible! This sight stunned the Guayu Patriarch beyond words, leaving him dumbfounded and shattered in spirit. Hunyuan power had long been completely severed in the ancient realm. How could Jiang Chengxuan possess it? Even more, it was purer and denser than the Hunyuan energy the shadow had drawn from beyond the world. In truth, what Jiang Chengxuan held in his palm was the Hunyuan Dao fruit, containing vast Hunyuan power and allowing him to comprehend Hunyuan Dao laws. This was the ultimate reward for completing the system's final mission by defeating a Deluo golden immortal. Without hesitation, Jiang Chengxuan swallowed the Hunyuan Dao fruit, beginning to refine it. Instantly, Hunyuan power surged into his body, infiltrating his Dao laws and immortal form. This was true pure Hunyuan power, far beyond what the shadow had brought from beyond. This mysterious supreme force stirred all laws. Countless miniature heavenly phenomena reflected around Jiang Chengxuan. All the immortal power in the heavens surged toward him, as if all laws returned to their origin. Soon, the entire forbidden zone was shaken by the overwhelming pressure erupting from Jiang Chengxuan. Many rebellious phenomena instantly suppressed, vanishing like bubbles. While the Guayu Patriarch's face twisted as if about to vomit blood, Jiang Chengxuan radiated an unbelievable Dao resonance. He stood apart from the world, as if stepping beyond the river of time to reach the true extraordinary limit. As the Hunyuan aura gradually withdrew and the heavens balanced, Jiang Chengxuan opened his eyes. The whole world appeared incredibly small. Various changing Dao laws were revealed to him without hiding. He could even faintly see the chaotic outlines beyond the cosmic canopy, scenes outside the heavens. Now, every bit of his immortal power carried the aura of Hunyuan. He had truly stepped into a realm transcending this world, Hunyuan Great Deluo Golden Immortal Realm. Since the Supreme Being had been silent for hundreds of thousands of years, no one had touched this realm for countless eras in the ancient realm. Now Jiang Chengxuan had done it. One in this realm was not only immortal and indestructible, but also had the power to escape reincarnation and control the universe with a single thought. So how is it now? Jiang Chengxuan stood with hands behind his back, calmly asking the Guayu Patriarch without rushing to attack. His breakthroughs might already suppress the slowly opening Forbidden Zone gate. There was no urgency. But the Guayu Patriarch's heart felt as if plunged into an ice cellar, his blood frozen, his expression dazed. His earth-shattering momentum and aura were already crushed by Jiang Chengxuan's intimidation. A quasi-Hunyuan Deluo Golden Immortal was no different before a true Hunyuan Great Deluo. Under Jiang Chengxuan's gaze, the Patriarch felt his Dao laws faltering. His immortal power felt unstable, as if wanting to leave his body. Who exactly are you? This can't be impossible. Having witnessed Jiang Chengxuan's breakthrough to Hunyuan Great Deluo Golden Immortal, the Guayu Patriarch felt his Dao heart shatter. Chapter 1971, Great Hunyuan de Luo, the Heavenly Scheme, Part 2. Then you shall enter reincarnation. Seeing the Guayu patriarch fall into despair, Jiang Chengxuan did not hesitate. With a single finger pointed forward, invisible Hunyuan power combined with immense immortal force surged forth like a celestial river, sweeping through the ominous darkness. Wherever it passed, all laws bowed in submission, all obstacles dissolved. Neither the Guayu patriarch's totem Tao laws nor the extra-mundane ominous forces could impede it in the slightest. The Guayu patriarch's eyes bulged, his whole body trembling as he exhausted all his strength to resist. Complex Hunyuan power manifested into a magical seal to counterattack. Yet before Jiang Chengxuan's finger, the seal shattered instantly, twisted out of shape, and vanished into nothingness. This strike was overwhelmingly mighty, transcending worldly Tao laws. Even if the Guayu patriarch fled through time, past or future, he could not escape it. No, I will not die, I still must. Before he could finish his desperate scream, the terrifying heavenly light engulfed the Guayu patriarch. He was decomposed into countless points of light, all that he was scattered into the void. Even the shadow that had always clung to him could not escape. After the Guayu patriarch fell, it was forced out and also consumed by the Hunyuan power, screaming in agony. Attempting to flee toward the stone gate and ascend to the heavens, it was annihilated halfway, turning to dust and smoke. Suddenly the heavens cleared, the chaos dispersed, and the ominous black mist subsided, revealing a bright and clear sky. A great de Luo golden immortal, renowned for tens of thousands of years, in the ancient realm had perished inside the Forbidden Zone. Simultaneously, the birth of an incredible Hunyuan great de Luo golden immortal was witnessed. Outside the Forbidden Zone, the heavens. Despite having slain the Guayu patriarch, Jiang Chengxuan's expression remained unchanged. When the system granted him the final Hunyuan Dao fruit, all this was already destined. Now his gaze rested on the Forbidden Zone's gate. His thoughts had transcended the ancient realm. Heaven, ominous and strange, these transcendent existences all suddenly appeared before him, within reach and pressing close. According to the Huotian immortal, a Hunyuan great de Luo golden immortal gained the right to enter the heavenly realm, to resist ominous races and protect beyond the ancient realm. For hundreds of thousands of years, no one dared to open the Forbidden Zone gate, even if the Hunyuan opportunity lay just beyond the door. Even de Luo golden immortals feared to go out, only waiting in place, revealing how terrifying it was. Then let me see what this so-called heaven truly looks like. Fearless, Jiang Chengxuan stepped alone across the void toward the Forbidden Zone gate. It was a simple stone door, its runes half-lit, already half-open. Jiang Chengxuan pressed his hand on the door, infusing it with Hunyuan power. Instantly, all runes lit up, illuminating the entire Forbidden Zone and its heavens. Almost simultaneously, all the Forbidden Zones throughout the boundless ancient realm felt the tremor. Their gates quivered, flickering with light and shadow. This shocked many de Luo golden immortals who had laid down contingencies deep in the Forbidden Zones, waiting for the Hunyuan opportunity. But after tens of thousands of years, no opportunity came, only someone dared to open it. Who opened the Forbidden Zone gate? After waiting tens of thousands of years, someone finally lost patience. This act will doom the entire ancient realm. Who dares act so recklessly? In an instant, the immortal beings hiding in eternal life were shocked. Some questioned, some lamented, others raged. But undoubtedly, none could stop or follow Jiang Chengxuan's steps. They could only watch and comment. They did not know the one who opened the gate was not a de Luo golden immortal, but a Hunyuan great de Luo golden immortal. Not for the Hunyuan opportunity, but to protect the ancient realm's people and battle enemies beyond. Rumble. At the Guayu sect's domain, the sky changed colors as a massive whirlpool spun, blotting out thousands of miles. An ominous pressure descended mysteriously. Many immortals witnessed this, but did not understand what was happening. That apocalyptic scene frightened countless living beings, who gasped in terror. Only when a ray of light surged against the heavens and vanished into the whirlpool's center did the strange phenomena gradually subside, reassuring the crowd. Did it finally happen? Was this the Lord's plan, or was he the Savior all along? A lone figure hurried over, gazing at the barely visible fading light and murmuring to himself. His expression was complex, hopeful, solemn, worried. This was the Huotian immortal. He knew Jiang Chengxuan had fulfilled the lifelong wish of his followers. Meanwhile, in Heoring Chuan's sect, Shen Ruyan's heart trembled. Though she could not see the strange phenomena, she knew Jiang Chengxuan had left this world, heading somewhere beyond. Stepping through the forbidden zone gate, Jiang Chengxuan felt himself dissolve into a point of spirit light, vanishing in the great flow. He ascended against the heavens, following a transcendent force, crossing countless layers of space, unfamiliar and complex Tao laws, myriad heavens and worlds, and the river of time itself. He did not know how long he traveled or how far. Perhaps only moments passed before all appeared before his eyes. No boundaries, no heaven or earth, only vast void but dazzling beyond measure. Countless lights and Tao laws wove into the backdrop, wondrously profound, brilliant, ancient, and full of solemnity. No immortal or spiritual power existed here. This was a realm where everything was and nothing was. All things could be obtained, yet nothing was visible. This was the heavens. A realm incomprehensible to ordinary beings. Even Jiang Chengxuan now could not fully grasp or control this realm. He had only earned the right to stand here and communicate with it. Rumble! A booming sound echoed in the distance. Jiang Chengxuan sensed that somewhere in the heavens, destruction and chaos raged without restraint. He felt ominous energy and Hunyuan power in turmoil, time and space fluctuating millions of times in an instant. Soon, focusing his mind, he followed the ripple to its source. Before him lay a galaxy condensed from countless chaotic energies, where many figures wielded supreme power, destroying millions of stars and manipulating space-time. They flickered incessantly, accompanied by apocalyptic power erupting and slicing through chaos. They were both real and illusory, impossible to distinguish clearly. Jiang Chengxuan's expression grew grave, his immortal blood surged. He knew this was the battlefield of ominous races and heavenly powers. Countless flickering figures were traces left by their battles. Some battles happened in the past, some in the future. Each scene was real yet dreamlike. Without him, you cannot stop us. We, the heavenly race, will ultimately rule all. Don't think you can break the blockade. Even if we fight to our last drop of blood, we will kill you all. Ominous races, how dare you speak of the heavenly Tao? Ridiculous. Amid the thunder of war drums, Jiang Chengxuan heard their voices, the echoes of times long past, eternally preserved by the power of space-time. He will return, we will have hope, the ancient realm will never perish. That resolute battle cry stirred Jiang Chengxuan's blood and spirit. These were true prodigies who once ruled an era, capable of defying heaven itself. Yet for countless lives, they battled the ominous races here in the heavens, indifferent to death or eternal existence. They fought on for hundreds of thousands of years, heroic and moving. Even though their immortal kings had fallen silent, they never abandoned their faith, willing to fight to the death, waiting for his return. For some reason, Jiang Chengxuan's thoughts became complex, revealing rare emotions, mixed with admiration, exhilaration, awe, nostalgia, and sorrow. Chapter 1972, System Integration Beyond Hunyuan Finale, Part 1. Standing in the heavenly realm, Jiang Chengxuan gazed out at the ever-shifting winds and clouds, the myriad transformations of Tao laws unfolding before him. He watched the endless scenes manifesting within the chaotic flow of time, ceaseless battles and sacrifices, and was momentarily speechless. Rumble, rumble. Suddenly, a growing roar echoed through the interwoven void of myriad laws. Jiang Chengxuan sharply noticed that a nearby chaotic temporal-spatial anomaly began to warp and twist. Vast nebulae were severed inch by inch, as if some force was tearing them apart. Then they started collapsing. Deep celestial rifts cracked open, with shattered nebulae and countless stars extinguishing. Space ruptured, and boundless heavenly light surged forth, sweeping through the entire void. From within came a terrifying aura, ancient and vast, brimming with world-ending intent, causing Jiang Chengxuan's eyes to narrow sharply. Soon, the chaotic galaxy, replaying countless temporal-spatial anomalies, exploded completely. Amid the massive shockwave, a group of figures abruptly appeared within the chaos. Each burned with terrifying power, like stars arrayed to form the heavens themselves. Enormous Hunyuan power enveloped the void, making all laws blaze with extreme brilliance. Opposite them, a suffocating ominous aura dwelled in the void, forming a strange, unpredictable domain. Many sinister shadows lurked there, watching intently. Seeing this, Jiang Chengxuan immediately understood. These two forces were undoubtedly the ominous races and the last protectors of the ancient realm. You have already lost. If you do not wish to die, submit to us. That is your only way to live. Yet the situation was dire. A powerful being among the ominous races shouted thunderously. Jiang Chengxuan's pupils contracted sharply. It seemed he had already arrived too late. The heavens had already fallen. We will never surrender, only death awaits. But that last group of protectors refused to give up. Facing the ominous race's persuasion, they grew enraged, undeterred, ready to die honorably and fight on. This scene shocked Jiang Chengxuan. For some reason, it felt strangely familiar, as if he had seen it before. Then die if that is your choice. In an instant, battle was about to erupt again. The dark turmoil held by the ominous races stirred restlessly. At that moment, Jiang Chengxuan could no longer hold back. He stepped into the void, his aura radiating as he charged directly beside the protectors and loudly declared, "I am here to aid you." Immediately the group was shocked, as if struck by lightning, frozen in place. Even the large mass of sinister shadows trembled violently, causing a great uproar. One stone cast into a pond stirred countless waves. Jiang Chengxuan's arrival brought an incredibly strange atmosphere, intimidating everyone present. Hello? This reaction puzzled Jiang Chengxuan himself. Even if his appearance surprised people, it shouldn't have been like this, right? "He's back, immortal emperor, you finally returned. Ha ha ha, I knew you wouldn't remain silent so easily. How could those old ghosts hold you down? The immortal emperor lives, we still have hope to fight." Even more strangely, not only did the ominous races react, but behind Jiang Chengxuan, a group of immortals erupted in madness, their momentum shaking the heavens. But this was no act. Jiang Chengxuan saw each figure overwhelmed with joy, smiling through tears, trembling, eyes moist. Such expressions could never be faked. They were genuine beyond doubt. However, where was the immortal emperor they spoke of? Presumably, it was the supreme being that the Huotian immortal had long followed. Jiang Chengxuan wished to meet this figure someday. For a moment the heavens fell silent, the furious battles ceased, time froze. Only Jiang Chengxuan remained calm, looking around awkwardly, feeling out of place and strange. "Immortal Emperor, what are you doing?" Only when someone approached from behind and called out did Jiang Chengxuan startle, inwardly gasping, his spine chilled. It turned out all these countless gazes were focused on him. That so-called immortal emperor was referring to him, calling him the immortal emperor. Rumble, rumble. Suddenly, thunder exploded in Jiang Chengxuan's mind, electricity crawling through his brain. His consciousness seemed to open, forming a whirlpool within, from which a certain mysterious force continuously poured forth. Countless images flickered past his mind like a whirlwind, millions of times in an instant. He remembered it all, everything returned to him. A million years of memories awakened, as if he had just woken from a great dream, feeling like a man reborn in a new world. It turned out he truly was the immortal emperor, but not only that, he was also Jiang Chengxuan. So that's how it is. Brothers, you've waited long enough, ha ha ha. Frozen for a moment, Jiang Chengxuan murmured softly, his eyes filled with endless melancholy, as if he saw through eternity. After a while, he turned around and laughed heartily, addressing the group of immortals. "You guys, what's with all the theatrics? HMPH, you made us worry for nothing, wandering all this time. Was it worth it? Ha ha ha, welcome back, immortal emperor, welcome back. Heh, good to have you back." Each face could barely contain their smiles, some proud, some relieved, others ecstatic. And now Jiang Chengxuan felt deeply familiar with them. For hundreds of thousands of years, they had lived and died together. "You actually didn't die, or rather you came back to life." At that moment, someone among the ominous races spoke gravely, no longer arrogant. Chapter 1973, System Integration Beyond Hunyuan Finale, Part 2. "Hey, you must be disappointed, I'm alive again," Jiang Chengxuan said calmly, his gaze commanding and intimidating the gathered clans. "You were clearly struck by our clan's secret technique to assassinate immortals. How could you not have been silenced?" This drove the sinister shadows nearly mad, but Jiang Chengxuan only smiled silently. Tens of thousands of years ago, he indeed had been suppressed by a terrifying secret technique from this ominous race, nearly annihilated in body and Tao. At that time, even with his abilities, he could not resist it. So he chose death. That death caused the ancient realm to lose its Hunyuan energy, rendering the Tao of the Huotian immortal and others ineffective. Because truly he had died, The Tao he wielded had truly silenced and dispersed into the heavens and earth. But his will did not perish. It was sealed by a defiant method, cast into the lower realms, cycling through countless reincarnations. This was a desperate technique. Even he had no certainty of success. So until he returned to this heavenly realm, he had no memory of it. During the cycles, Jiang Chengxuan had lived millions upon millions of lives, sinking deeper each time, akin to true ruin, perhaps never to awaken again. The so-called system he achieved was actually a backup he left for himself, to find that faint chance of restoring the supreme Tao between reincarnations. Each life's insights and cultivation were inherited by the system after death, feeding the next life. All the rewards within the system were in fact the foundation Jiang Chengxuan once possessed. Because of this, now that Jiang Chengxuan had finally reversed fate and transcended limits, nearly reattaining the Tao anew, crossing the river of time and re-entering the heavenly realm. Not dead or not, it matters little. Now you cannot stop my clan. At this moment, a great figure from the ominous race spoke again, tightening the tense atmosphere. Jiang Chengxuan may have returned, but despite retraining this life, he was still far weaker than before. Today, let them die with you once again. Kill. In an instant, the situation collapsed like the heavens falling and mountains crumbling. The dark forces held by the ominous race surged forth, their terrifying momentum shaking heaven itself, dimming the cosmos. Behind them were shadows of countless planes, all invaded and fully corrupted by them. With these, their clan wielded terrible power, so strong that even Hunyuan golden immortals could not defeat them. Previously, Jiang Chengxuan's strength was peerless, transcending the world, known as the immortal emperor. Just one step from reaching the supreme realm beyond Hunyuan, yet still repressed by this clan's secret techniques. Though he had his own reasons for plotting this path, the ominous race's terror forced him to take a different route. Integrate the system. Yet Jiang Chengxuan remained expressionless, murmuring to himself. Ding! The system's voice sounded in his mind again, but this time not for a task. Do you want to integrate the system? Yes. Jiang Chengxuan declared firmly. As the system responded, integration begins. Countless invisible, vast righteous forces spontaneously emerged and merged into his body. This was truly Jiang Chengxuan's trump card, the real purpose behind choosing reincarnation. The system was his fallback, having absorbed countless lifetimes of cultivation and insight, all for this moment. This unexpected turn stunned the ominous race. The immortals behind Jiang Chengxuan shone brightly, with excitement and spirit renewed. They knew Jiang Chengxuan had always created miracles, never abandoning hope even during silence, standing firm behind him in these final moments. In an instant, Jiang Chengxuan's aura surged with the influx of myriad insights. The Hunyuan power on him transformed continuously, refining and assimilating his millennia of understanding. At some point, the Hunyuan power underwent a mysterious change. The supreme aura radiated from Jiang Chengxuan, shaking all of heaven and distorting countless intertwined Tao laws. Even the oncoming ominous race were affected, their hearts filled with dread. Some of their most powerful, comparable to Hunyuan beings, unleashed their might, pushing ominous power to the extreme. They conjured corrupted heavenly power into a cataclysmic flood to annihilate all. Under this assault, Jiang Chengxuan's Hunyuan power seemed insignificant. All the immortals stared sharply, awestruck. This force, born from the destruction of myriad heavens and worlds, was the strongest magic of the ominous race. Even the immortal emperor, before his silence, had feared this power. Suppress it. But facing a power that once made even himself wary, Jiang Chengxuan did not retreat this time. His supreme aura gradually peaked, his immortal power transformed into an overwhelmingly fierce force. Facing the flood of destruction born from heavenly ruin, Jiang Chengxuan slowly formed a mystical seal, which likewise reflected the myriad heavens, evolving millions of Taos and countless magics. This was a supreme power never before seen in the world. After tens of thousands of years as the immortal emperor and countless cycles of reincarnation, Jiang Chengxuan finally understood this step. He's wielding that power. Has he truly crossed that step beyond Hunyuan? What is it? No one knows. Even so, immortal emperor, you've done it. Seeing this, even the immortals behind Jiang Chengxuan were shaken, hearts pounding fiercely. They were his followers, and to witness him reach a new realm filled them with deep reverence. This was the immortal emperor they knew, always forging possibilities amid despair. Rumble, rumble. Next moment, Jiang Chengxuan's eyes pierced all laws. With one hand swept out, he unleashed the mystical seal, illuminating all heaven and shaking it endlessly. In deafening thunder, time and space were annihilated. The apocalyptic power of the ominous race was suppressed. Countless sinister shadows perished beneath it. Impossible, how could he cross that step? That realm doesn't exist. Retreat, he's become supreme. Retreat. The great powers of the ominous race shattered their courage at Jiang Chengxuan's blow. They realized Jiang Chengxuan had transcended fate, stepping into a realm their kind had never witnessed, becoming a true supreme immortal. Yet that single breakthrough strike had already inflicted countless casualties upon their race. They would need untold millennia to recover. If they did not retreat now, extinction would be theirs. Thus, Jiang Chengxuan radiated supreme power, standing alone in heaven, separating countless ominous beings from the immortals behind him and the ancient realm. The ominous race's million-year-long ambitions failed at the last moment, forever crushed. Jiang Chengxuan then manifested supreme power. A palm swept through space, creating a mirror image of the heavens out of thin air, embedding it between heaven and the ancient realm, forming an unimaginable shield of protection. Then he extended a finger into the heavens, carving a path, tracing the supreme Tao's mark, channeling the power of fate into the ancient realm. This power would nurture more Hunyuan golden immortals within the ancient realm. And the first would be Shen Ruyan. Following these arrangements and safeguards, she would soon catch up to him. Immortal Emperor, are you really going to? Yes, with the supreme heavenly protection evolved from immortal power, the ancient realm will be safe for millions of years. I intend to go to the true homeland of the ominous race and utterly crush them. The immortals who had lived and died with Jiang Chengxuan for hundreds of thousands of years were amazed and joyful. Still caught in a dreamlike haze, yet questioning, Jiang Chengxuan explained calmly, as his supreme immortal power easily stirred myriad heavenly laws, pursuing the retreating ominous race. A new realm, a new Tao unfolded before him. Behind him lay new hope. His life was destined for no hesitation. He would walk the endless Tao forever, until in the endless ages, all would sing the name of the immortal emperor, never forgetting him.